They held the status of gods and goddesses. Glimmering cinema, alluring and unattainable. Monumental and larger than life, Hollywood's. Legendary stars of the Golden Age captivated audiences with their allure and skill, but underneath the meticulously cultivated public personas, dominated by influential studios, many of these stars embraced a life of spirituality that would stun their vast fan base. Today, we're unveiling a surprising discovery. Remarkable and utterly factual religious explorations of cinema's most celebrated personalities. These aren't sensational headlines or online gossip. Legends, these are the recorded spiritual. The journeys of Hollywood icons, as chronicled by the studio. Publicists diligently made every effort to conceal. Out of the public spotlight, from a dramatic transformations into ancient mysticism. Get ready to witness these practices, recognizing familiar figures in a completely fresh perspective. Here are 10 surprising religious convictions that Hollywood's most celebrated stars from its golden era. Number 10. The deeply religious young Catholic with Hollywood's best-kept secret, the life of Loretta Young, was considered Hollywood's most deeply committed. The devout Catholic actress made daily church attendance a priority, implemented relatively conservative dress standards for her movie, provided and upheld many Catholic charities, even leveraged her studio capabilities, her religious piety as a component of her. However, in 1935, Young encountered a predicament that jeopardized her professional standing and her belief during the filming of The Call of. In the Wild, she conceived during a romance involving her and her married co-actor Clark. In a time when bringing a child into the world was a significant event, Gable, being out of wedlock would ruin her professional prospects and contradicted her Catholic faith. Young's actions. An exceptional choice, she briefly vanished from public sight, privately gave birth, and subsequently put her, a girl residing in a Catholic orphanage for months. Subsequently, Young embraced her own stance publicly. Biologically conceived offspring sustaining this. Fictional narratives have captivated readers for decades. Her daughter, Judy, failed to uncover the truth concerning her lineage information prior to 1994 instead of renouncing her beliefs following her ethical. Young's devotion deepened even further. Catholicism, possibly as an instance of, she subsequently founded a foundation dedicated to supporting unwed mothers is a worthy endeavor, intimately linked to her own veiled history. Young's intricate connection with religion exemplifies the potential of faith to function as both an ethical guideline and a wellspring of restitution in Hollywood's classic period, even though that belief was present concurrently with life's most profound mysteries. 9 by Hedy Lamarr. The Hollywood mystic with a scientific bent, she was touted by MGM as the premier, the world's most stunning woman, but Hedy Lamarr was concealing something significantly more intriguing than her well-known visage. Lamarr possessed a secret brilliance, creator of technology now in use. During the period of World War II, advancements were made in the fields of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. In the same vein, she was also highly engaged in esoteric practices that merged scientific principles regarding spirituality from a personal perspective. Diaries unearthed following her passing. Lamarr delved into the realm of Jewish mysticism, specifically Kabbalah. Although lacking any Jewish ancestry, she found herself utterly captivated by Kabbalistic numerology was integrated. These esoteric tenets into her. Scientific endeavors rely on numbers as their fundamental communication tool. Regarding the universe, she penned in a personal note. Journal when I engage with frequencies, and I'm not merely conducting scientific research, I'm experiencing the sacred, Lamar. Engaged in meditation practices for many years prior to that. Gained widespread popularity in America through methods for visually representing to improve her innovative thinking and solution finding. She attributed these practices to her abilities by assisting her in the development of her pioneering frequency shifting technology. The invention, even more astonishingly, Lamar, integrated aspects of Austrian traditional music, the enchantment of her childhood woven into her everyday life, the customary practice of crafting protective amulets for the benefit of her offspring and carrying out ceremonies prior to significant meetings or film screenings. Debutante Ruth Barton, as a biographer, premieres. Lamar observed no inconsistency between her intellectually scientific nature and her mystical side. Practices for her represented two distinct avenues of delving into the more profound structures of reality. Lamar's method was significantly progressive for its time. It's now time to consider conversations of the modern era concerning the connection between awareness, spirituality, and scientific ingenuity that would not gained widespread acceptance only in the 1960s and past 8 West Seance. Iconic sex symbol Mae West forged her career on. Sexually suggestive and alluring. Provocative statements questioning ethics. Norms of her time, but beneath the surface. Her unapologetically public persona was a woman who was profoundly dedicated to the study of spiritualism and esoteric practices. Actions that would have astounded her. From the 1920s right up to her passing. During 1980, West frequently engaged in attempts to connect with, specifically, the deceased, especially her mother, Matilda, with whom she shared a very deep bond. As stated by her personal aide, Tim, Malachowski's career never reached a point of significant prominence. Career choice without attempting to reach out to her mother initially. She had a freelance writer she employed regularly. Every 2 months, West's apartment was dedicated to astrology to the point that she declined to enter into agreements or commence filmmaking endeavors, except in the most auspicious of circumstances. This infuriated studio heads, manufacturing timelines occasionally, not dictated by financial constraints or celebrity status. Presence, but guided by West's astrological insights. Readings perhaps most notably, the sexually liberated West held to numerology, imbued with a nearly religious fervor. Her dedication was such that she'd alter the very way it was written. Of character names and written dialogue. Generate more balanced numerical figures. And demanded the disclosure of her home addresses and telephone numbers adhere to established guidelines. She viewed the studio publicists as fortunate. Intentionally preserved West's mystical, concealed interests kept secret from public view, fearing they would jeopardize her meticulous efforts. Created an image with a worldly, sexually suggestive theme. A woman exuding confidence. The paradox is, intriguingly, the actress renowned for requested the men to visit me upstairs. On occasion, private matters held a greater fascination for him, rather than in her standing in the public eye as Hollywood's Unquestionably the most provocative sex symbol. 7. Katharine Hepburn, the indomitable. Non-believer during a period when religious. Public displays of skepticism were uncommon. Primarily among women, Katharine Hepburn. She distinguished herself through her open declaration of atheism. During a 1991 interview, Hepburn revealed, straightforwardly, "I'm an atheist, and that's my stance. I'm of the opinion that there are limits to what we can truly understand, with the exception that we ought to be kind towards each, assist others, and contribute to their well-being to the best of our ability." This could be perceived as unsurprising today, yet hearkening back to Hollywood's golden era. Such an open and direct refusal of religion was exceptionally rare, especially considering prominent female actresses, in contrast to male actors such as Brando, could possibly escape scrutiny regarding religious matters. Doubtful attitudes were anticipated from women. Preserve at least the facade of. Hepburn stressed the importance of traditional values, living with ethical considerations in mind right now rather than concentrating on an afterlife on they. In a 1973 appearance on The Dick Cavett Show, she provided an explanation. "I have absolutely no interest in. I believe the next world has already arrived, and I consider anything positive that you're anticipating. What action should you take towards others in this situation?" Unlike numerous stars who persisted in maintaining at least a semblance of religious practice, to safeguard their reputation, Hepburn consistently adopted a facade of conventional beliefs. This genuineness resonated with her. A wider rejection of conformity, specifically regarding attire. Trousers during a time when they were deemed outrageous. To declining studio press coverage. What factors contribute to Hepburn's position? Especially noteworthy is the fact that she didn't solely confine these opinions to private settings. She candidly addressed them during a time when atheism faced severe social disapproval. Specifically for women, Hepburn accomplished this. Displayed the same bravery in her, the spiritual essence she embodied, surpassing other limitations throughout her pioneering career spanning 6 decades. Gary Cooper. The cowboy embraces Catholicism. Gary Cooper represented the quintessential American ideal. The honest, no-nonsense cowboy hero, a courageous soldier, a man of unwavering honor. Tough, masculine traits and traditional Protestant beliefs appeared to embody flawlessly classic American values, which is why his spiritual metamorphosis astonished. Originating from Montana, Hollywood's upbringing took place there. Bishop Cooper expressed minimal enthusiasm. Throughout the majority of his life, he found himself immersed in the realm of religion. Rumors of womanizing circulating outside of the screen, and a life of hardship offered little indication of spiritual depth. However, in 1959, at the age of 58, Cooper shocked the Hollywood elite by transforming into. The ritual occurred at the Church of the Good Shepherd in Beverly Hills, accompanied by his wife Veronica, and both Maria's daughter and she were devout Catholics. On his part, this wasn't a situation of impending death. Cooper arrived at this choice too. Several years preceding his cancer diagnosis after much deliberation when questioned regarding his change of heart, Cooper expressed himself with humility, acknowledged that he wasn't flawless, but demonstrated a sincere wish to further cultivate his. The nature of Cooper's spiritual journey, what prompted Cooper's. The conversion was especially noteworthy. how it clashed with his publicly portrayed persona. The embodiment of the quintessential WASP American hero was adopted Catholicism during a period when hostility towards Catholics persisted. Within the context of American society, the emphasis on individualism is paramount. The cowboy discovered purpose within the traditions he followed, highlighting community and ritual when Cooper received his honorary Oscar during 1961, mere weeks preceding his passing from. Only a small number of people in the audience were aware that cancer. We are observing a man who has experienced a deep spiritual metamorphosis. Her husband later disclosed that his Catholic beliefs brought him a profound sense of peace in the midst of his final confrontation with cancer, offering resilience that embodies his tough persona. The screen persona was never obligated to showcase the number 5. Spencer Tracy's exploration of Catholic guilt and prohibited romance. Spencer Tracy achieved 2 victories and received nominations for 7 additional Oscars, cultivating a reputation for delivering quality performances. Ethical individuals of strong moral character, however, beyond the realm of view. Tracy grappled with a deeply troubling paradox. Within the confines of his rigorously Catholic upbringing, and his individual decisions especially, his lengthy association with Katharine Hepburn, raised in a deeply religious family. A Catholic family in the year 1900, Tracy belonged to, taught by Dominican nuns and Jesuit priests. Priestly experiences that profoundly impacted religious beliefs guided him throughout his existence. Battled alcoholism, a formidable fight, more distressing in accordance with Catholic doctrine that heightened his feelings of guilt during times of excessive alcohol consumption. However, Tracy's most significant interior strife focused on his connection to Katharine Hepburn, even while cherishing a loving relationship. For more than 25 years, Tracy remained steadfast by her side. He ended his marriage to his wife, Louise Treadwell. His choice was immediately impacted by the Catholic faith, as dictated by the Church, prohibits. Divorce presented Tracy with an insurmountable challenge. He was unable to force himself to forsake Hepburn, whom he held dear. Was it possible for him to end his marriage and wed another? Hepburn remained faithful to the Church. The consequence was many years spent living in a spiritual struggle, caught between longing and confidence stated that doctrine. Tracy sometimes revealed extraordinary remorse concerning his connection with Hepburn. However, the discrepancy remained unresolved. This existential challenge brought an additional dimension to a level of complexity entered Tracy's life that most admirers wouldn't comprehend, would have been able to discern in the respectable, ethical figures he frequently depicted as. His struggle between Catholic belief and individual decisions formed a lingering tension that he was unable to fully overcome. Showcasing the application of religious principles can have a deep impact on life choices. Even for Hollywood's top stars, Tina Turner's Buddhism preserved the reign of the rock queen. Limited spiritual transformations in Hollywood's flair for the dramatic is on par with Tina's. Turner's adoption of Buddhism as a belief system that she attributes the change to her perspective, but focusing specifically on the act of saving. She was raised in the Baptist faith in Tennessee. Turner encountered Buddhism during the most challenging phase of her existence while confined, amidst a marriage characterized by extreme and violent abuse from Ike. In 1973, Turner encountered a friend called Valerie, Soka Gakkai was presented to her by Bishop Nieder in Buddhism and imparted its teachings to her. Recite Nam Yohu Ryo, though initially doubtful. Turner's chanting primarily originated from. I was gripped by a profound sense of despair. Circumstance I was eager to explore. Anything, she remembered afterwards, but what originated as a plea for assistance evolved into a practice that brought about profound change for her. The bravery to act the greater my. The louder I chanted, the more powerful I felt, Turner stated. I started to understand that I possessed the ability to transform my life. This profound spiritual transformation reached its peak in her bold choice to escape Ike. Back in 1976, she started her journey with a mere 36 cents to her name and had no place to turn. Turner's Buddhist practice formed the bedrock of her. An astonishing resurgence in the 1980s following. After parting ways with Ike, she faced initial difficulties maintaining residences and utilizing food assistance programs to endure by means of her dedicated chanting. Through her actions, she consistently demonstrated resilience, required to reconstruct her professional life, culminating within her groundbreaking private dancer album, which achieved sales exceeding 20 million copies globally, in contrast to some celebrities. Religious transformations that wane with time. Turner's dedication to Buddhist principles. Her experiences grew more profound over her lifetime. She implemented a structured regimen of repeating the chants twice a day, an act she attributed, while ensuring she remains centered amidst global. In the year 2020, Turner brought forth a publication titled Happiness. Please provide me with a full sentence or context. Becomes you sharing how Buddhist is incomplete. The teachings aided her in surmounting seemingly unconquerable challenges. Her narrative illustrates the power of faith to deliver not only comfort, but also functionality. Strength required to alter even the most dire situations. 3. George Harrison, the Beatle known for Hinduism's introduction to the West. When George Harrison discovered a sitar at some point during the filming of the Beatles movie Help commenced in 1965, it appeared to be nothing more than a mere accessory. It was foreseeable that that instant would result in one of the most substantial spiritual voyages in. Intrigued by the annals of popular culture history, this unusual instrument Harrison desired. Our celebrated sitar virtuoso Ravi Shankar, who served as both his guide in music and spiritual guidance from Shankar Harrison, encountered Hinduism and Vedanta, a philosophy that incorporates meditation practice, a plant-based diet, and the exploration of ancient knowledge. Works such as the Bhagavad Gita, interpreted through Ravi's lens. Harrison expressed a desire to demonstrate that I have a genuine passion for Indian music and the entire Indian context, encompassing its religious landscape. In philosophy, it's a quest for tranquility. Harrison's novel explores a fresh perspective on spirituality. His viewpoint profoundly shaped him. Music, most significantly featured in Within You, Without You. Your take on the Beatles' revolutionary impact. The Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album, complete with its accompanying lyrics, investigating consciousness and the perception of illusion, regarding the nature of physical existence as viewed in India. The instruments Harrison implemented, countless youthful listeners from the West, Eastern philosophical ideas, in contrast to numerous celebrities who explored Eastern, the fleeting nature of spirituality as a popular phenomenon. Harrison's dedication was profound, and together, he and Shankar orchestrated the lifelong landmark Bangladesh concert from 1971, one of the inaugural major benefit concerts. His chart-topping song, My Sweet Lord, included the Hare Krishna chant, originating from Hinduism, penetrating the mainstream of popular music. Harrison acquired an English property. It transformed into a haven for Hare Krishna supporters and financed the release of were the defining characteristics of spiritual literature. Harrison's journey is remarkably extraordinary. His sincere adoption of Hinduism paved the way for countless Westerners to venture out and discover mindfulness practices, yoga, and Eastern thought systems, actions that are now established. Even in his final confrontation, mainstream, despite his cancer diagnosis, Harrison remained steadfast in his dedication to his spiritual observances, as stated. His closest companions bid him farewell as he departed this life, vocalizing God's names, expressing through the unwavering strength of his belief to his final days. Two individuals named Elizabeth Taylor, both of Jewish heritage, a transformation that jeopardized her professional standing. Her famed loveliness and eyes of violet hue. Elizabeth Taylor possessed it all, seemingly. Recognition, wealth, and a series of prominent unions, but following the untimely demise of her third spouse, captured on film. Film producer Mike Todd was involved in a plane crash during 1958. Taylor's path led her on a quest for spiritual growth that shocked Hollywood and jeopardized. Her worldwide fame reached its peak in 1959 when she was 27 years old. Taylor adopted Judaism in a ritual observance at Hollywood's Temple Israel, being given the Hebrew name Elisheba. Rachel, I experienced a strong sense of connection with the Taylor later clarified regarding Jewish individuals, my Jewish identity has always resonated deeply within me. What makes Taylor's transformation so extraordinary is that its purpose wasn't matrimonial, as many believed. Celebrity religious shifts are simply born from a sincere spiritual bond. Was a profoundly individual decision during that period. During a time when anti-Semitism persisted widely in America, Taylor's dedication went beyond just. She risked her career by acquiring $100,000 worth of Israeli bonds valued at almost $1 in 1959. This politically audacious move today. This declaration led to her movies being prohibited in numerous Arab nations, possibly severing substantial global marketplaces. Her advocacy went further than just financial donations. During the year 1975 at the United Nations, disagreement erupted when a proposal asserted. Taylor asserted that Zionism manifested as a form of racism, publicly denounced the resolution's adoption using her star status to leverage for possibly the most contentious stance. Astonishingly, following a plane hijacking in Uganda during 1976, it was alleged that Taylor proposed a trade, offering herself in place of a Jewish person. A remarkable act that involved hostages. Although not proven, it showed the extent of her dedication, even after her separation from Jewish musician Eddie Pfizer. In 1964, Taylor reaffirmed her Jewish identity, her lifelong identity. The conversion wasn't a fleeting moment, but rather a dedication to spirituality throughout one's entire life that unveiled aspects of her personality deeply. More profound than her glittering public persona proposed was the inclusion of Sammy Davis Jr. Transformation that challenged duality. Discrimination, a phenomenon of extraordinary note. The evolving spiritual landscape of Hollywood. Sammy Davis Jr. is synonymous with history. Conversion into Judaism necessitates remarkable bravery when confronted with racial prejudice and anti-Semitism. The instigator occurred on November 19, 1954, marked by a devastating car crash almost proved fatal. Davis sustained an injury that resulted in the loss of his left eye. His recuperation in the hospital, his friend, comedian Eddie Kaner, made the introduction for him. The study of Judaism often explores parallels with the intersection of Jewish history and African American experiences. As Davis delved into the study of Jewish, he found traditions to be deeply meaningful. Relationships between the hardships of Jewish communities across history and their my personal encounters with discrimination discovered striking resemblances in my life, circumstance, and the extensive historical. The Jewish situation, as viewed by Davis later on, revealed following years of in-depth research. He formally adopted Judaism in 1961, he adopted the Hebrew name Mos Benevid. The determination of Moses, son of David, was especially noteworthy considering the social. The American climate during the early 1960s was the African-American performer Davis has already encountered substantial racial discrimination stemming from a conversion to Judaism. He fundamentally decided to align himself with another segment that encountered extensive prejudice prevalent in that time period. He created himself a victim of both racism and simultaneously addressing anti-Semitism. Davis offered his reason for converting, stating, "I long for a belief that a man could truly possess. On an emotional level, I identified as Jewish because I was prepared to comprehend the struggle of a population that battled for a yearning for a homeland, a desire that spanned thousands of years." It wasn't a contrived publicity effort. Davis persisted, remained a lifelong adherent to Judaism, providing financial assistance to organizations advocating for Israeli interests, and providing entertainment for Israeli soldiers during times of war. When questioned about his reasons for, opted for a less contentious belief system. According to reports, Davis responded with Judaisa wasn't about opting for the simplest route. It's centered around selecting the appropriate course of action for. Please provide the complete text you would like me to paraphrase. I need the context following me. In an era when civil rights difficulties were only beginning to intensify, Davis's openness to accepting a minority religion publicly exhibited its spiritual fortitude that transcended his captivating personality and his transformation serves as a compelling demonstration of aligning with one's inner truth. In spite of societal repercussions, the transcendent quests of this golden era. The stars illuminate a facet of Hollywood's past, less traveled beyond the glitz and shine of meticulously constructed public personas were in existence. Individuals of both genders immerse themselves in something deeply meaningful. Quest for significance and genuine belief. What is especially noteworthy about these narratives? Their context is of paramount importance during this. In the past, major studios held almost complete dominance over every facet of a celebrity's public persona. Faith-based convictions were regarded as particularly vulnerable, possibly unappealing to viewers or unsuitable, with the deliberately crafted visuals. Despite public aspirations, studios desired to project. Numerous stars possessed profound spiritual significance, lives that occasionally clashed with their public figures, the embodiment of sexual allure, who pursued esoteric wisdom, quintessential American icon who wholeheartedly accepted Catholicism, the refined and prominent figure who engaged in Eastern meditative practices distant from the cameras, embodiments of genuine spiritual stories inject humanity into figures that are frequently simplified into basic archetypes by the publicity engines. They serve as a constant reminder that, beyond the characters that continue to captivate, our perspectives on classic films have always been multifaceted. People struggling with questions of significance, intention, and transcendence in they. And maybe that's the most impactful disclosure, that even among those who attained the pinnacle of success and wealth during Hollywood's golden age, the spiritual quest persevered, as crucial and demanding as it may be for we all, outside the glare of the spotlight and beyond the shimmering facade. The quest for, if you like this, meaning persists. Explore Hollywood's concealed spiritual dimension. Tap the side, hit subscribe, and enable notifications. Ring to guarantee you never overlook our forthcoming videos exploring film histories. Share your most captivating unheard tales with us. Celebrities' spiritual reflections. Which journey astonished you the most? And tell me about it. This video for anyone who enjoys unveiling the genuine individuals behind legendary Hollywood, appreciation for viewing.